Hello, folks, and I'm Ryan Dunleavy.
I'm Ryan Zelinsky.
And welcome to today's episode. As the Cubs had a huge win against the Phillies, 8-4. The bats really woke up today. Not the best start from Colin Rea, but the bullpen continues to look great. So let's get right into our card segments brought to you by Mark's Card Shop, located in Downers Grove, Illinois. Address is 914 Curtis Street in Downers Grove, Illinois. Call them at 630-541-7441. We'll put that information in our bio. Their website link should be in the bio of our Instagram. So make sure to go check that out. Thank you to Mark and Mark's Card Shop for sponsoring today's show and sponsoring this card segment. So you know the drill. Let's get right into it. Our first guy, he was a former number one MLB prospect, started his career off with the Mariners. He hurt himself with the Mariners because he punched a Gatorade, um, one of the coolers, and then he got traded to the Braves, and he's still not great, but he's been doing all right. He's an outfielder, lefty lefty.
Former top prospect hurt himself hitting a cooler.
Mhm.
Um, Lefty lefty, you said.
Outfielder.
Um, oh, um, Jared Kelnick.
Yep, Jared Kelnick. Our next one. This guy's probably gonna be pretty hard to get. He is a left-handed bat. He throws right-handed. He's a third baseman. He was the Tigers' first-round pick in 2022, and he has a brother on the Rangers, and their initials both are JJ. Tough one.
Oh, is he hurt right now? You
Yes,
said
he
he's
is
hurt.
hurt. He is hurt right now.
Um, ooh, is it oh God, Jace Young.
Yep, Jace Young. That was a good guess. All right, our last one. This guy has been with the Angels his entire career. He's a third baseman. He's a switch hitter. He throws right-handed. He signed with the Mariners but never played in the big leagues with them. He's from Venezuela and represented them in the WBC.
Is he their starting third baseman?
I believe so. Yes. I don't. I think him and Rendon kind of switch off. It's not Rendon. I'll give you that. I think you should have got that though, because he's not from.
Well, yeah, yeah. Um, um, what does his first name start with?
L. I'll give you his first name if that would help.
Yeah.
Luis.
Oh, it's what's that dude's name? Starts with an R. Um, Rendifo.
Yep, Luis Rendifo. Thank you for watching our card segment, and now let's get into the recap. Ryan, you got this one?
Yeah, we'll get into the game recap. But first, I want to give a shout out to one of our subscribers, Giovanni Chauncey. It is his 16th birthday. Happy birthday, G. Thank you for being a subscriber. Hope you have a great birthday.
Yep, happy birthday, and thank you for showing love to the channel.
All right, we'll hop into the recap here. Cubs get the win 8-4. They move to a 41-26 record. The Phillies drop to 38-29. The Phillies are now 5 games back of the Mets in the NL East. The Cubs move to 5 games up on the Cardinals in the NL Central. Yeah, so let's get into the scoring. Dansby Swanson in the 5 hole gets us started with a solo shot dead center. Hit pretty well. Didn't know if it was gonna get out immediately, but he put a good swing on it. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, so I texted you earlier. I don't like that Dansby still hitting in the 5 hole. I don't care he hit a home run. He shouldn't be hitting in the 5 hole. But obviously that's how you want to start a ball game. It was a good hit. I'll give it to that. Obviously, me and you both picked this matchup as our favorite matchup for the series, and the Cubs teed off on Abel, and I was glad to see that.
Yeah, it was a good start, like last night, getting going early. And then on the bottom of the second inning, Kepler hits a what I thought was a pop up, and then Seiya kind of looked like he was camped under it, a few steps from the wall, and then he kind of went back, and then he jumps out of the way. Pete looks up like he's gonna get it, and it goes out. It was the weirdest, like it was. I don't know if there was a pretty wicked wind tonight, going out toward right, but I mean, it looked like a pop up. Seiya looked like he was camped under it. Then PCA looked like he was camped under it, and then it goes first row of the seats to give the Phillies a 2-1 lead. Um, I don't really know what to think. I mean, it was just a weird kind of play. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. Because count say it was like, "Where's this ball at?" And then he got up. But same note, not a good pitch by Ray. Middle fastball, 92 miles an hour. Most times a big league hitter is going to take that ball 400 feet out of the ballpark.
Yeah, I agree with you. Conrad didn't have his best stuff tonight. And obviously he wasn't going to continue, shoving like he did his last start, or two starts ago. What was his last start?
His last start, I believe they used an opener for him.
That's right,
I
and he
know it
went.
wasn't Detroit. It was Washington. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
he had,
Washington. He got the series dub.
and it
He
was a really
pitched
good.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So obviously he wasn't going to continue that. We knew that, but yeah, he didn't have his best stuff tonight. Um, and then the top of the third inning, Ian Happ puts a charge into one, 384 feet, ties the ball game up. Ian Happ continuing to get back in his groove ever since his injury. And then at the top of the fourth, Michael Bush hits one to the moon, 442 feet, way gone. You knew it as soon as it left the bat. I mean, probably one of the deepest home runs I've seen hit from the Cubs this year, from Michael Bush especially. I mean, that thing was a tank to give them the lead. Any thoughts on those two home runs?
Yeah, two more fastballs that got hit for home runs. I mean, Ian Haps was a high ball. He just kind of, you know how he's got that big follow through on his left-handed swing,
Short,
and
yep. Hands come through. Yeah, it was shortened to the ball.
yeah, got out in a hurry. Glad to see Ian heat up for sure because he definitely did not look good at the start coming back from injury. So it's great to see him kind of heating up where when the Cubs need him. And then Michael Bush's kind of like a middle to outside fastball, and Bush can really hit any pitch if you give it to him in the zone. And he just teed off on it, and I love seeing Michael Bush continue his success. And he's a player that I really think has a very bright future wearing the pinstripes.
Yeah. And then in the bottom of the fifth inning, the Cubs are up 3-2. Ray gets into a little bit of trouble. Um, and was the Brandon Marsh? Was this the Brandon Marsh injury, or did that come a little later? Like the tough call at second.
Yeah, it was because March hit a leadoff double to start
That's
the
right.
inning.
Yeah. So Alec Bohm singles to center. And it's a 2-run single. I mean, not much to really talk about here. Alec Boehm, good ball player. Good piece
Yeah,
of
it was
hitting.
inside fastball. He turned on it and drove it right up the middle. But one thing I do want to note, Ryan Brazier, two big strikeouts after that. Struck out Castellanos and Bryson Stott, who are two great hitters, two great players in general. And I think as we were talking about yesterday, Ryan Brazier can kind of be trusted in these bigger situations, I think.
Yeah. And I believe that was his second pitch of his outing, the 2-run single, and then after that he settled in, shut the door. None to be too angry about. Again, we weren't going to win this game 3-2, so we knew we had to score more. Top of the sixth inning,
He
Ian
struck.
Happ.
I just want to note he struck Castellanos out on a dirty slider.
Yeah,
Got him fishing, and then on Stott strikeout he painted it. So two very good ways you want to strike out a batter.
yeah. And then in the top of the sixth, Cubs come right back. Ian Happ, a towering home run to give the Cubs a 5-4 lead, his second of the game. And I do want to talk about Reese Mcguire here because I don't think that really people are going to look at this. Ian Happ, yeah, he hits the homer. It's his second homer of the game. But what does Reese Mcguire do with one out? He hits a pretty sharply hit ball to third, Matt Shaw's out at second, and Reese McGuire legs out the double play, keeps the inning going, and then next at bat, Ian happens to go ahead home run. It doesn't happen if Reese McGuire doesn't put in the effort to run down the line, beat out that double play, and I think that just explains what we've seen from him, so far from when he's been on the team.
Yeah, for sure. He really shows his hustle every day, and as you see him, like he's dove into first base multiple times. He runs out the ground balls. He puts in the hustle, and I'm really glad the Cubs called him up
Yeah,
and
me
gave him an
too.
opportunity.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And then we know he's had his trouble in the past, but good that the Cubs gave him a shot. And then in the top of the eighth inning, he hits a sharply hit ball to left center. Thought it was gone, honestly. Um, and Nico scores. So again, another uh, more evidence of what he's been doing good with the team. Gives the Cubs some big insurance there. And then Kyle Tucker pulls one to right field. Cubs go up 7-4. Seiya hits a single to left. Hap scores. Cubs go up 8-4. And then that's where it is. Any thoughts on that big eighth inning that really gave us some breathing room?
Yeah, Reese McGuire just kind of an outside curveball, and he really pulled it and turned on it. He's got a beautiful swing, very underrated left-handed swing, and he's got some sneaky power, honestly. And then on the Suzuki and the Tucker hits, I do want to note they were both hard hit ground balls, and that's kind of what they do best. Tucker and Suzuki, even if they're not hitting the ball into the stands, they definitely can hit the ball hard, and that's why those both were singles. If they don't hit those balls hard enough, those could be inning over double plays or just getting outs. But two big knocks from those two, and that's what you expect them to do. Two guys who I think deserve all star trips. Suzuki might not get it. I think there's no doubt Tucker doesn't, and shows why they are very good with runners in scoring position.
Yeah. And then Presley came in the eighth, gave up two hits, but got out of the inning with no damage. Flexen comes in the ninth, shuts the door. His ERA stays at 0. Cubs win 8-4. Any closing statements on the game recap before we get into the pitching?
Last night sucked. Extra innings terrible. I don't think they managed it well. Very let down loss, and the Cubs easily could have gave up and lost this game by 12 runs tonight. But they do the opposite. The bats comes alive. The bullpen shuts the door, and I think this was one of the biggest and most needed wins of the season so far.
Yeah, a huge win because if you lose, you lose another series. It's your third loss in a row. Obviously, you would still be 13 games over 500, but you know it would have just been dicey.
One thing I do want to note too: 5 out of the Cubs' 9 hitters had 2 hits tonight. So love to see that.
Yeah, it's what you need, right? We say the bats need to come back. They do come back, and they win. They win a ball game.
And
Um,
7 of the 9 players had RBIs.
and then I also want to note that the Cubs are now 20-6, following a loss. So that's what you want to do when you're following a bad game.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we'll get into the pitching now for the Cubs. Colin Rea gets the start. Went 4 1/3, 7 hits, gave up 4 runs. They were all earned. No walks, 5 strikeouts, gave up a homer. 83 pitches, 55 of them for strikes. He's now got a 3.92 ERA. Ryan Brazier came in for relief. He went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts, 16 pitches to 11 for strikes. He has a 2.57 ERA. Caleb Thielbar, who is just disgusting. I'm starting to really love Caleb Thielbar. Went an inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, a strikeout through 11 pitches, 8 for strikes. He's at a 1.85 ERA. Brad Keller, an inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, a strikeout, 16 pitches, 10 for strikes. He's now got a 1.99 ERA, so a sub 2 for him. Presley came in for an inning, gave up 2 hits, no runs, no walks, a strikeout, 12 pitches, 9 for strikes. He's got a 3.96 ERA, and then Chris Flexen comes in the ninth. No hits, no runs, no strikeouts, no walk. Or sorry, he had 1 walk. 17 pitches, 9 for strikes. But he didn't give up a run. His ERA still stays at 0. Um, any statements on the Cubs pitching tonight, and then in the past?
Colin Rea, he threw way too many pitches over the plate, way too much stuff right in the hitter's wheelhouse. He needed to hit his spots better, and he didn't really hit spots tonight. Bullpen continues to be great. I love Brad Keller and Caleb Fieldbar, two arms that I am enjoying to watch more and more every game, and they just have been great. Ryan Presley gets under a 4 ERA, so he's around a 3.96 right now. So not that bad, honestly. Like for an older guy, Brazier continues to get some big outs for the Cubs, and Flexen continues to do his job, and I'm starting to really love this bullpen and Hoyer's signings, and I'm starting to kind of trust him with these bullpen arms.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought in late April that we'd be saying we love the bullpen, right? And I do want to ask you, what do you think the difference is between this bullpen, who they're looking like a playoff team, and then past year's bullpens? The terrible season last year, the collapse in 2023, 2022, the bad season. What do you think about the difference between this year and the past years?
Three major keys. One, walks. Cubs bullpens in the past year, they'd come in, they'd walk two guys, give up a double. These Cubs pitchers are getting first pitch strikes. They are pummeling these batters with strikes, and then you get them in an 0-2 count, and you've seen Thielbar do numerous times. You've seen Pomeranz throw a nasty pitch in the dirt, and then you get an out. Another thing that I really have liked seeing is just honestly is like simple as it sounds, they're just doing their jobs. They're getting outs. I really have liked to see guys step up as well. At the beginning of the year, if you told me that the Cubs back into the bullpen would be Daniel Palencia, Caleb Fieldbar, and Brad Keller, and they'd all be sub 2 ERAs, I thought you would have been crazy. And this bullpen, I've really loved it. I've enjoyed it. They've gotten their outs, they've done their job, and it's a very enjoyable bullpen. And they're getting outs and they're doing their job.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, for the first time in a few years, every time, it's a 2-run, 3-run game and the bullpen comes in, I'm feeling okay, right?
Yeah.
I never felt like that in years past, but this is, I really enjoy what I've seen so far. And then for the Phillies, Mick Abel gets the start, 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. He gave up 3 home runs, so all the runs were solo shots. He threw 89 pitches tonight, 56 for strikes. He's at a 2.35 ERA. Banks went an inning, gave up a hit. No runs, no walks, no strikeouts. 19 pitches, 13 for strikes. He's at a 3.6 ERA. Walker came in for an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs. They were both earned. No walks, a strikeout. 13 pitches, 10 for strikes. He's got a 3.69 ERA. Ross came in for an inning and a third, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. He threw 35 pitches, only 16 of them for strikes. So that is not good. He's at a 5.01 ERA. And then Hernandez came in for an inning and 2/3. He gave up 2 hits, no runs, no walks, a strikeout, and then he threw 24 pitches, 15 for strikes. He's at a 5.26 ERA. So what stood out to you about problems with the Phillies pitching tonight?
They weren't hitting spots. It'd either be over the plate or they'd walk guys. Abel, 3 walks, 3 runs. Ross, 2 walks, 3 runs. Walks come back to bite you in the long run.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just kind of, in the long ball was a big problem tonight.
And
Obviously.
that goes with balls right over the plate. Ian Happ,
Yep,
fastball, right
exactly.
up the middle. Dansby Swanson, fastball, middle. Reese Mcguire, even though it was a double, it was a curveball, kind of down the plate. Michael Bush,
Mhm.
fastball down the middle. Way too much stuff over the plate from the Phillies, and way too much stuff over the plate from Colin Rea too. But the bullpen they did hit their spots.
Yeah, the thing about the Cubs is the bullpen had Collins back. The Phillies bullpen did not have Mix back tonight. So I think this is pretty obvious. We'll probably both agree. Who's your player of the game tonight?
Ian Happ, by far, he's starting to catch
Yeah.
fire, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. And he is the leader that this team needs.
Yeah, I agree. 2 home runs from your leadoff hitter. I mean, that's gotta love it. Obviously, this doesn't include only tonight's game. He's got 3 home runs in 2 games. We talked about it earlier in the week. We want to see him, you know, get back to where he was before the injury. I think he's starting to get back there, maybe even better. But yeah, Ian Happ is pretty clear. And then I do want to bring up, we kind of touched on this earlier in the show. The Cubs are 7-0 with Reese Mcguire in the starting lineup. What has he done to earn a roster spot on the big league club in the near future?
He hustles, he makes plays, and the bat has been great. He is getting on base and doing what this team needs. If the team needs a double, he'll do it. Hit by pitch, walk. Another thing is the hustle. You see him running every ball out. You don't see that from some major league or some of these guys. They'll hit a chopper, the third guy makes the error, but they'll still be out because they don't run. McGuire always is hustling, and you love to see it. I mean, you don't see enough of that, and that's something that you don't see enough in today's game and is not preached as much to the next generation. Another thing is the left-handed bat. I think he has a really nice swing, and it's kind of underrated. And the bat's been really good for them. And he's done another thing is he's done a really good job controlling the pitching staff. I've liked his calls and a pitcher. Their performance can also be due on the catcher because they're the one calling the game. So that's kind of an underrated opinion, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then, he's got a really good arm. Like the throw on Brandon Marsh, although he was safe, it was a pretty good throw. Again, he's doing his job, right? Like you said, his hustle. I mean, it just looks like he wants to be there. He's not, like you said, a lot of guys will like they'll hit a little chopper and be like, oh, whatever, get him next inning. But Reese McGuire sprinted down the first base line, legged out the double play, resulted in the go ahead homer tonight. Huge play. I really love him in the lineup. I don't necessarily think Craig Counsell is going to go to him as the number one catcher, but like, you're 7-0 with him in the lineup. Would you like to see like a lot more of him in the lineup? Because I know I would. I don't know about you. So would you like to see more Reese McGuire?
Not a lot more, but until Kelly finds out. I love what they did with Amaya. Let Bethencourt catch 2 games in a row. Let Amaya work with Dustin Kelly. I'd like to see McGuire finish out the series, catch tomorrow. Have Dustin Kelly work with Carson Kelly tomorrow. And then see what he can do on Thursday. Give Carson Kelly the nod in game 1 of the Pirate series, but let Reese McGuire finish the Philly series.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, we're not saying play Reese every day, but we're not, setting them right. Like I do want to see a little bit more of what he can, bring to the table.
Yep.
So we will get into the preview of tomorrow, the rubber match. The winner takes the series. 12:05 p.m. start. I'm pretty glad about that. Get to wake up some Cubs baseball early. Ben Brown versus Jesus Luzardo. What do you think? What do you think the keys to the game are?
Luzardo's been struggling as of late, so they need to jump on him. Seiya Suzuki needs to lead this offense as he's been tattooing left-handers, and they just need to work up his pitch count and get this Phillies bullpen in early, as we've seen what they've done the past couple of days.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like you said, he's struggling 5-2, but a 4.46 ERA. So he's not really,
Listen,
dealing.
but in his last 7 games, he's a 7 ERA.
Exactly, yeah. Um,
Listen to this. Versus Toronto, last start, 2.1 innings, 9 hits, 8 runs. Versus Milwaukee, 3.1 innings, 12 hits, 12 earned runs. And then versus the Athletics, he went 7 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs. Or 1. Yeah, 3 runs. So he hasn't had a really good start in a while. So the Cubs
yeah,
need to tattoo him.
they again,
There's absolutely no excuse that the Cubs do not win this ball game tomorrow with the lay Luzardo throwing the ball.
yeah, I
It's
agree. They
unacceptable.
they gotta jump out early like they did today and yesterday. Although they didn't win yesterday, but they gotta, they have to jump out to a multi-run lead early in the game. Let Ben Brown kind of settle in, and then let the bullpen win the game for you. So Jesus, like you mentioned, Say has been tattooing the lefties. Jesus Luzardo's on the mound. He's a lefty. Do we see Justin Turner tomorrow instead of Michael Bush?
100%, and I'm okay with it. Even though Bush had a good game, he started the first 2 games. I'm okay seeing JT play tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we were kind of seeing a lot of heavy Justin Turner early in the year. And Michael has gotten his playing time back. He's playing really well. I mean, an off day doesn't hurt, so I think we'll see it, and I don't mind it. What is your prediction? Has your prediction changed, or what's your prediction for tomorrow's rubber match?
8-2 Cubs win.
You're thinking big. All right, I like it. Um, so now we will, or sorry, I'll give mine too. I think let's see, Ben Brown. I think we'll go 6 innings. He'll have probably give up 2 runs. I think the Cubs, you know, get on Jesus early. I'll say 6-2. I'll say no. I'll say 6-3. Cubs win. Um. All right. So now we'll move into the out of town scoreboard. The Tigers continue their dominance. They beat the Orioles 5-3. The Reds have won again. That's their fifth in a row. They win 1-0.
No bueno, no bueno.
Yeah,
Not good for the Cubs.
I mean,
Andrew Abbott continues to shove. I mean, this
he is now
guy,
he's now
he
at a
mu
187, I believe.
oh, he should be in the All-Star game, I think.
Yeah,
He's at a 187, 6-1. I know like wins and losses, as we talked about in the past couple of shows, are overrated, but he has earned all 6 of those wins.
100%. I mean, we were at the game when he was pitching at Wrigley. He deserved that win because the game only was dicey when he came out. And sorry, and then the Marlins beat the Pirates 3-2. The Red
Stop there
Sox.
really quick. I want to say something. The Pirates are only 2 games above the Marlins, right? 1.5 games above the Marlins right now. Marlins have been playing some good balls of late. Like, the pace that they started in the year was awful, and now they're starting to play
It's a
some good
joke,
ball.
yeah. Yeah, they're kind of heating up. I mean, we see that a lot from bad teams. They kind of catch fire.
Another thing, Cubs trade target Alcantara had 6 shutout innings in the win. So just I know he's going to be a guy that the Cubs heavily pursue at the deadline. So I just want to give an update on that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they get him. I don't think they will from their history. I just don't think it'll work out. But the Rays lose to the Red Sox 3-1. Roman Anthony gets his first hit. It's a 2-run double. Love to see him kind of shine after that tough error in his debut. And then the Mets win 5-4 against the Nationals. The Brewers beat the Braves 4-1. Um,
Mets hit a walk off, by the way. Jeff McNeil walk off single.
the Yankees beat the Royals 10-2. The Rangers beat the Twins 16-4. Blue Jays beat the Cardinals 10-9. Thank you, Toronto. That's a nice win. We get to separate a little bit. The White Sox beat the Astros 4-2. The Giants beat the Rockies 6-5, who are now 12-54. I mean,
Brutal. That
that's
I think the
brutal.
Cubs AAA team could beat them. I'm being completely honest.
The
This
Iowa Cubs could give the Rockies a run for their money. Yeah.
if Cade Horton's pitching that game, just say that because he was on the team to start the year. Give me
Yeah.
Cade Horton. Then you have Ballesteros catcher, Hunter or Jonathan Long at first, who's been having a heck of a year. Triantos, Casey, Alcon. The Iowa Cubs are a fun ball club, and I think they could give the Rockies a run for the money. Honestly.
I think in a 4-game series, every game is within 2, and the Cubs get a win.
Yeah, and the Cubs they probably have. I feel like if you know baseball, you know more players on the Iowa Cubs than you do the Rockies because the
100%.
Iowa Cubs they got
Because
some studs.
a lot of the guys have come up, right? Like a lot of the guys are big league quality players. And yeah, I think the Iowa Cubs could definitely give the Rockies a run for their money. And then the Angels continue playing good. They win 2-1. Padres destroy the Dodgers 11-1. Diamondbacks still playing good ball. They win 10-3. So any closing statements on just the league in general?
A lot of slaughter rules tonight.
Yeah, a lot of high
TK
scoring.
Hernandez pitched 2.1 innings.
Oh, did he really? Oh, I didn't. Oh my God, that's awesome. He's
He
been he's
actually
been
did pretty good too.
he,
He is at 2.8 ERA this year. Just want
he's
to point
he's
that
been
out.
so fun to watch on the mound with his protective thing on his hat, and it's been so funny to watch.
Yep.
And then to close this show, we got some trivia. So Ryan, why
Okay,
don't you give me
so
the question?
my question is, who led the Cubs in home runs in 2018? And I will give you a hint. He led by 8 home runs.
Okay. I'll give three names that I think are in contention. Tell me if one of them is right, and then I'll eliminate. So I'll say Schwarber, Baez, and Bryant.
One of them is correct.
Okay. Baez was so good in the field that year, and that was I don't know if that was. I'll say well, Bryant was okay. I'll say Schwarber.
Incorrect. Javier Baez hit 34 home runs that year to lead the Cubs. Schwarber had
Damn,
26. Bryant had 13.
damn, Bryant was terrible that year.
And third was Rizzo. Fourth was Ian Happ.
Can I just ask you a quick question? I mean,
Yeah.
before we end this show, I was kind of talking about this the other day. Like Chris Bryant is starting to become like a what if. Like let me like kind of explain this to you. He was really he was a superstar in 2015, a superstar in 2016, pretty good in 2017. I mean, after that, he was just average.
Yeah, and he's been pretty rough, and I believe in that trade the Cubs got Alexander Canario, who's not with them anymore, and Caleb Killian, who's been struggling. So kind of a lose lose trade for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously Bryant isn't with the Giants anymore, but like he who was talked about as one of the greatest players in baseball, and then he really only had three good seasons, and now he's just kind of a forgotten about guy, which is it's kind of sad. I mean,
I'll never forget
it.
about KB though. I love KB.
I'll never forget Kate. I mean Brizzo. How could you ever forget? You know,
Brizzo or PCA and Suzuki.
PC and Suzuki. I mean, I think if PC and Suzuki can get me a championship, then we can talk further. But I mean, they're definitely
Hope so.
close.
Hope so in the near
Hope so.
future.
I, maybe even this year. You know, knock on wood. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Had a blast recording as always. This is our 10th episode, by the way. So you know, a small milestone.
Yep, yep.
I've
Keep
had a lot
watching.
of fun. Yeah, keep
So have
watching.
I.
I've had a lot of fun doing it. And then Friday, we will explain further, but we've got some fun stuff coming. We'll be at the game. Closing statements, right?
Go Cubs, go! Fly the W. Let's win a series tomorrow.
Yeah, go Cubs. Let's get the series dub and yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Signing off. Ryan Dunleavy.
Ryan Zelinsky. Thank you guys.